Hello everyone, welcome back to another video, and today we're going to be going over the Blood Knight build, or the Crimson Knight, Death Knight, Bloody Devotion, whatever build you want to call it. We're going to go over it today because a lot of people have been requesting this, and I know I haven't uploaded in a while. I've been quite busy with life. I'm recording a new mod pack right now. If you guys are familiar with Ocean Block 2, I am recording that with a friend, and I'm trying to do 100 days. I'm not sure if I'll do the full 100 days or not. I'll probably upload a video to see how that goes. The trailer is already out, so go out there and support that video. And without further ado, let's get started. So I already have a chest here with all the stuff that you will need for the Protector or the Death Knight builds chest, and I already went over the Frozen Champion stuff and the Plaguebringer build in my Warriors guide, so go check that out if you haven't already. So for early game, you'll start off with the Hood of Death's Call, the Tunic of Death's Call, the Leggings of Death's Call, Boots of Death's Call. This is the main armor set you want to build up to get in the early game, and it's pretty easy to get. You can just get chains, leather, and bones, and you can easily craft this armor, and it's pretty much the same thing for the other armor sets, I'm pretty sure. So yeah, leather, bones, and chains, and yeah, you can craft the entire Death's Call armor set. And for the spell book, you should get the Warriors Codex. I don't expect you to get the Vampiric Knowledge yet, but if you can get that, then go ahead. To get the Warriors Codex, it's pretty easy to get. You just get a spell binding table surrounded by 18 bookshelves, and to get it, you just put a book and lapis inside a spell binding table, scroll down until you see the Warriors Codex, and that's how you can get that. Once you have 18 bookshelves around your spell binding table, you can put the Warriors Codex right back into the spell binding table, and this will give you spells that you can get. So the main spells that this book has is the Shattering Throw, Demoralizing Shout, Charge, and Whirlwind. When you press Alt on the book, you can see the specific details of what each spell does on the book. So for example, Shattering Throw, it throws your weapon at a target and it deals 57.9 damage, reducing their armor by 30% for 8 seconds. So yeah, these are pretty good spells to fight bosses. So for early game, you also want to get some accessories like the Ruby Necklace, which gives you 4% physical damage, two Ruby Rings, which will give you 4% physical damage each. And for your weapon, you can get anything, pretty much anything that the warrior can get. For example, Diamond Rune Blade. I have the Diamond Rune Blade here, but you can also go for anything else that you would get, like a Diamond Axe if you want. Pretty much anything that will help you deal damage. Don't worry about it too much for early game. For mid game, you'll upgrade your weapon to something better, so don't worry too much about your weapon yet. Let's move on to mid game now. So for mid game, you want to get the Crimson Guard's helmet, Crimson Guard's chestplate, Crimson Guard's legs plate, and Crimson Guard's boot. So the entire Crimson Guard's gear. To upgrade into the Crimson Guard's gear, you want to put the Death's Call armor in the middle, put Iron Gear on the right side, and then the Blood Rune on the left side, and that's how you get the Crimson Guard's gear. Then you want to get the Tome of Vampiric Knowledge. If you don't know how to get that, then it's pretty easy. You go into your smithing template, put the Warriors Codex in the middle, get a rune carved stone and a blood rune, and this can upgrade into a Tome of Vampiric Knowledge. To get the rune carved stone, you get each type of rune surrounded around a stone, and this will give you a rune carved stone. To put spells on the Tome of Vampiric Knowledge, you go back into the spell binding table and put that in, put some more lapis in there, and you can get each spell. And remember, if you upgrade your Warriors Codex with spells on it already, then you can't get the upgraded spells on the Vampiric Knowledge. So just put your lapis and Vampiric Knowledge in there with no spells on it and get all these spells. And with this book, you get 4 main spells: the Death Strike, Marrow Rend, Blood Boil, and Dark Command. For your accessories, you want to get the Ring of Bloodthirst and the Necklace of Blood Queen. These accessories will give you 6% more max health and give you 8% more blood power, which will make you do even more damage. And for your weapon, you can go for the Great Ruby Rune Axe. This will do plus 5 blood power, as well as the other Death Knight damage as well, like the Frost and Unholy. But the main thing you want to focus on is the plus 5 blood power. There is also other weapon options, like if you search up blood, and you can go for the Great Ruby Rune Blade, which will attack faster, but it does a little bit less damage. You can go for the Hasturian Rune Blades if you want, but that is a bit more later end game, but it is still possible to get in the mid game. But yeah, there's a wide variety of weapons. Like, you can also sit with the Netherite Rune Axe, which only does 1 less blood power and does a little bit less damage, but is easier to get than the Ruby Rune Axe. And to get the Ruby Rune Axe, you will just need to upgrade your Netherite Axe, put a Nether Ruby in there, and a smithing template, and this will give you the Great Ruby Rune Axe. So yeah, that's pretty much mid game. At this point, let's go over the talent tree that you will go for. You want to go for the Protector's Path, get that up there, and then go down this path, and up to this point you can get the Decaying Devotion Fate node, which will give you plus 10 blood power. And then if you can get the Skyward Sunder, which will give you plus 30 corruption, but also corruption increases your ability damage, so just keep in mind of that. So try to get pretty much everything here, like lethality, physical damage, anything that will do more damage. Haste will technically increase your DPS because you're swinging faster, so just keep in mind of that. Before moving to end game or late game, let's go over some accessories you're gonna want before you go into the late game to fight the harder bosses. So first off, you can get the Charm of Regeneration, which will permanently give you Regeneration 2. If you go into Anvil and then get a Charm of Regeneration in there, or a Charm of Vitality, and put a Hardening Crystal on it, you can get permanent Regeneration 2. I saw some questions on previous videos on how to activate this Charm of Regeneration or any of the charms. All you have to do is shift, right click, and then once you see that it's glowing, you can just put it in your charm slot, and then it is permanently giving you Regeneration 2. As you can see, I have it permanently on here, just going back and forth. That's how you get that. You also want to get the Tome of Vampiric Knowledge into the accessory slot instead of holding it out in your inventory. If you get the Novelty Drinking Hat, this will make you drink faster, eat faster. So for example, if you're carrying health flask, golden apples, or ender kanji, you can eat or drink these faster. And ender kanji is really good for you to carry because it gives you Regeneration 2, Resistance 2, and Health Boost 3. Also gives you plus 12 max health when you apply this, and it's really good for boss fights. Resistance 2 and Health Boost 3, get that for 45 seconds, and that could be the difference between winning a boss fight and losing one. So keep in mind to get the Ender Kanji. Get the Monocle so you get permanent night vision. Put your Necklace of Blood Queen in the accessory slot. You can get any one of the wings or Elytra in your wing slot. Get the Undying Soul, which means you will take less damage. Get the Vampiric Glove, which will let you steal health from mobs. Get the Turtle Bracer, which will make you take less damage overall. Get 2 Ring of Bloodthirst. Get 1 Crystal Heart. Get the Thigh Highs to take less fall damage. And finally, get the Running Shoes, which will make you run faster. Alright, now let's move on to late game. For late game, you're gonna want the Helm of Crimson Knight, Chestplate of Crimson Knight, Legs Plate of Crimson Knight, and Boots of Crimson Knight. Note that I have the legendary reforge on here. You can easily get the mythic if you wanted to. I didn't really focus on the reforges, but keep in mind you should get the mythic reforges for endgame. For your main enchantments, you're gonna want to get Protection 5, Magic Protection 5, Multi-Roll on your helmet. Decaying 5 is the main enchantment you want to get on all your pieces. This will increase your blood power. Cowardice 3, Amplify 3, Spell Volatility 3. Amplify spell and spell volatility will increase your spell damage overall. Get the Berserker's Fury on your chestplate. On my chestplate, I have Leeching 4, Long-Footed, Cowardice 3, Multi-Roll. These are not necessary, but you should get them either way, so you could do better in boss fights by like rolling faster, rolling more, and rolling further. But yeah, you can also put diamond trims on each of your armor sets, which will give you a bit more armor and you will take less damage overall. If you want, you can also put Zal necklaces on all these armor sets and put like Etir Ingot and corruption resistance on your helmet, so you'll do a bit more spell damage. But as a blood protector, you'll be mainly in the front lines, tanking damage either way, not doing much damage, so like you don't really need to get that. But if you're playing alone, then sure, go ahead and get that. For your weapon, you're gonna want to upgrade to a Frostmourne Blade of the Fallen King. For your main enchantments, you want to get Ambush 1, Echo 6, I think that is, Sharpness 6, Smite 6, Spell Haste 5, Spell Infinity, Spell Power. This will overall overall increase your spell damage and physical damage as well. You can get other enchantments on here that I don't have, but these are just the main ones you want to get. Go ahead and also upgrade this to a mythic reforge to do a bit more damage and get more critical chance. And yeah, I'm pretty sure that's everything for the end game armor sets. For your talent tree, like I showed before, you want to get everything that I've shown here. Just follow down this path, get all the physical damage that you can get the Skyward Sunder, and then the Decaying Devotion fate nodes. Go up here if you want to do more magic damage to a certain endgame boss, then you can get this nodes over here and you'll do a bit more magic damage to help your teammates out. And yeah, that's everything for the talent tree. For your Frostmourne Blade of the Fallen King talent tree, go down this path straight down like this, and you want to get the Sendori's Teaching passive ability, and this will give you +5 blood power as well as +20 corruption resistance. So I'm pretty sure I've gone over everything up until now. So right now we can test our damage and how well we do against bosses. Alright, so I'm gonna go ahead and summon the Obsidiolith boss. As you may or may not know, this is a boss that does a lot of damage end game, and it's a boss that you fight more towards end game, so it does a lot of damage. And we'll test our abilities and our health, how much we regen all against this. So keep in mind, with this set you will get about, oh yeah, I should also probably put like some type of fire resistance on this set. But keep in mind, this set will give you 500 health, so you do have a lot of health to keep, and you regen super fast with the charm and with the set. And keep in mind, the point of this build is to steal health from the mobs and pretty much stay alive as long as possible. Pretty much unkillable anyway with this set, but let's test all our abilities. With the right click, you put a debuff on the boss, and then it will also steal some health. And then with the second ability and third, you want to just use all of them on the boss and look at all the damage it does to the boss. Pretty much like right away takes away all the health. And with the Obsidiolith, you want to mine these blocks. And as you can see, I'm not like taking damage. I'm not having any hard time with this boss at all. But yeah, you want to just find all the blocks, and once you've broken all the blocks, you can just use all your abilities again, like right click, second, third, and fourth spell, and then this will do a lot of damage, as you can see. And then it's already down, it's 2/3 of its health. Now it's gonna go invincible again, and we're gonna have to break these blocks. Move away, it's gonna jump down, and then it's gonna do attacks while you're trying to break these blocks, but if you have a good pickaxe, it should be fairly easy to break the blocks anyway. As you can see, we've broken all the blocks. Now it's out of the invincible state. Now we can use all our spells, and it's just gonna lose all its health. Right now I don't even need my potions or anything because it's pretty easy either way. It's gonna go invincible again, break the blocks. Alright, once you've broken all the blocks again, you can just use all your abilities, which does a decent amount of damage, and you can see it just melts the Obsidiolith. And yeah, that's how easy it is with the Vampire. And yeah, this build is really good for endgame. Remember, the main point of this build is to steal health, be in the front lines, help out your teammates or any friends that you're playing with, and you can tank all the damage. You should pretty much stay alive with this for any of the bosses, except maybe for that one endgame boss that pretty much one-shots any class. Other than that, this build is really good for not only health and tanking, but it also does decent damage, so that's why this build is really good. But yeah, that's gonna be it for this video. If you guys enjoyed and found this guide helpful, please do hit that like button, and please subscribe to help this channel grow, and so that I can upload more videos like this. And see you guys in the next one.